Hey everyone, and welcome back to Forbidden Unveiled. You ever look up at the night sky and wonder if maybe, just maybe, something's looking back?
Oh, all the time.
Well, tonight we're going deep on one of the most famous alien abduction cases ever,
Yeah,
the Travis Walton incident.
this is a case that just keeps coming back, doesn't it?
It really does.
No matter how many years go by.
Yeah, and joining me as always is Jane Doe, our expert on all things paranormal.
All things spooky.
And Jane, this one, well, it's a wild one.
Oh, it is, it is. So we're going back to November 5th, 1975. Picture this. We've got a group of lobbers in the Apache Sigreaves National Forest in Arizona.
Okay.
They're just finishing up a long day,
Right.
heading home, and suddenly they see a strange light through the trees.
A light, like a campfire or something?
No, not quite. As they got closer, they realized this wasn't any ordinary light. They described it as a large, disc-shaped object hovering silently in a clearing.
So like a classic, like a flying saucer.
Yeah, like a class flying saucer blowing softly from within.
Wow, so they saw a UFO. What did they do?
Well, most of them were, pretty freaked out, as you can imagine.
I would be too.
But one of the crew members, a 22-year-old named Travis Walton, well, he decided to get a closer look. And so he jumped out of the truck
What?
and ran towards the object.
Wait, he ran towards it. I feel like I'd be going the other way.
Right? You'd think the rest of the crew was shouting at him to come back, but Travis just kept going. And then all of a sudden, the object emits this bright bluish-green beam of light, right? And it hits Travis right in the chest and throws him back about 15 feet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what happened next? Did the others help him?
Well, they panicked. They drove off. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah.
But they realized pretty quickly they couldn't just leave him there, right?
Right.
So they turned around, went back to the spot, and Travis was gone, just like that.
Poof. Just gone. What did they do?
They were in shock. They ended up contacting the police, and Navajo County Sheriff Deputy Chuck Ellison, he arrived on the scene, and even he could feel how scared they were.
I can only imagine trying to explain that to a police officer. My friend got beamed up by a UFO.
Right, and then Sheriff Marlon Gillespie, he was called in as backup, and initially he thought maybe something else had happened, like a fight, maybe an accident, something like that.
Right.
But the crew's fear, it just seemed too real.
Yeah, so even the sheriff was thinking, okay, maybe this UFO thing is actually real.
Right. They started a huge search for Travis. I mean, they were combing the woods.
Yeah.
But nothing. No Travis, no sign of the craft, just tons of questions.
This is like straight out of the X-Files. So what happened to Travis?
Well, 5 days later, he reappears.
Okay.
And he says he was abducted.
He just shows up and says, hey guys, aliens took me.
Said he woke up on a table, surrounded by these strange creatures with these large brown eyes.
Classic alien look, huh? And then what? Did they, probe him?
He didn't really talk about that kind of stuff. He said he was terrified and somehow managed to escape through a doorway.
Oh, wow.
He found himself in this corridor, and eventually he ended up back on Earth. Doesn't really remember how he got there, though.
That's quite a story. But why should anyone believe it? I mean, disappearing for 5 days and then claiming alien abduction, that's a lot to take in.
Well, here's the thing. It's not just a story. There are 6 witnesses who all say they saw the UFO. And they were all interviewed separately, and their stories all match up really well, even under a lot of scrutiny.
6 witnesses, so it's not just Travis saying he saw a spaceship.
Nope, not at all. And get this, they all agreed to take polygraph tests.
Really?
Now, polygraphs aren't perfect, but they're designed to detect deception, right? And they all passed.
Wow, that's hard to ignore. 6 people all saying they saw a UFO, one of them abducted, and everyone passes a lie detector test. It makes you wonder.
It really does. Oh, and there's more. Investigators found burn marks on the ground right where the craft was supposed to be, and there were some unusual radiation readings in the area, too.
So we've got multiple witnesses, consistent stories, polygraph results, and some physical evidence. This is sounding less like a tall tale and more like a real mystery.
It definitely is. But it also raises a lot of questions, too. Why was Travis taken? What did those beings want? And what does it all mean for us, our understanding of the universe?
Those are some big questions. And we'll try to get to the bottom of them right after this.
We'll be right back with more on the Travis Walton abduction, only on Forbidden Unveiled. Welcome back to Forbidden Unveiled, where we're trying to get to the bottom of the Travis Walton abduction.
So we've got all this evidence and even more questions.
Yeah.
What were those beings doing in Arizona? Were they just like cosmic tourists, just stopping by?
Right.
Or was there something more to it?
It's interesting how we always jump to those 2 extremes, right? Like curious tourists or sinister invaders. What if it's something else? Something we can't even imagine because it's so different from anything we know.
Okay, give me an example. What kind of something else are we talking about?
Well, think about it. We're always studying the natural world, right? We
Yeah.
collect specimens, we observe animals, we do all these experiments.
Right.
What if they were doing the same thing? Not to be mean or anything, but just from a scientific perspective.
So we're like the lab rats in some kind of cosmic experiment.
Maybe not lab rats, but subjects of observation, for sure. Travis said he'd wake up on a table, which some people think was for a medical exam.
Hmm.
It's possible they were studying us, trying to understand how we work.
But why take him like that? Couldn't they have just asked? I'm sure plenty of people would volunteer to meet aliens.
See, there you go again, using our human social rules for a situation that might have completely different rules. Their idea of interaction, of consent, it could be totally different from ours.
Yeah, I guess. Like trying to explain the internet to a caveman, right?
Exactly, and who's to say their methods, even though they seem scary to us, weren't gentle in their own way? We have to be careful about assuming things about something we barely understand.
Okay, that's a good point. But Travis was obviously terrified. He didn't feel like it was a friendly visit.
Oh, absolutely. His experience was traumatic, no doubt about it. But trauma can come from the unknown, just not understanding what's happening, even if no one is trying to hurt you.
Right, right. Like when you see a spider unexpectedly,
Yeah.
it's not that the spider wants to attack you, it's just that we're naturally afraid of something so different.
Perfect example. And speaking of different, let's talk about where the abduction happened. You said investigators found burn marks and weird radiation readings?
Yeah,
But there's something else about that area. It has a crazy amount of lightning strikes.
really, like more than usual.
Way more. It's one of the highest in the U.S., second only to the Everglades. And this was long before climate change was a big deal, so it was hard to explain.
That's crazy. Do you think there's a connection between the UFO and all the lightning?
It's possible. Some researchers think UFOs might be drawn to areas with high electromagnetic activity, and lightning storms definitely fit that.
So maybe they were refueling there, or using the energy somehow.
Now we're getting into speculation, which is fun, but let's stick to the facts. What we do know is that the lightning adds another layer to this already mysterious case.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if they were studying the lightning or trying to use that energy.
Or maybe they were interested in something created by all that lightning. Have you ever heard of fulgurites?
Fulgurites. Sounds like a Harry Potter spell.
They're real. When lightning hits the ground, the heat melts the sand or soil and makes these hollow, glass-like tubes, like fossilized lightning.
Wow, seriously. And you think these fulgurites could be connected to the aliens?
It's a theory. Imagine a substance made by the pure power of nature with unique properties and maybe valuable information. Maybe that's what they were after.
So they weren't abducting Travis, they were on a fulgurite collecting mission. Alien geologists, huh?
It might sound crazy, but is it any crazier than alien abductors? It shows how even the weirdest details can lead to cool possibility.
I'm starting to think this whole case is like a giant puzzle, and we're missing a few pieces.
I like that analogy. But even without all the pieces, we can still appreciate how complex and strange this puzzle is. And who knows, maybe by looking at all these possibilities, we'll find a clue that gets us closer to the truth.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot tonight, from alien abductors to fulgurite collecting geologists. Where do we go from here? What's the takeaway for our listeners?
That's a great question, and one we'll definitely try to answer when we come back for the last part of our deep dive into the Travis Walton abduction.
You won't want to miss it, folks. We'll be right back with more Forbidden and Veiled. We're back with the final part of our deep dive into the Travis Walton abduction. It's been quite a journey.
It has.
Yeah, from spaceships and burn marks to alien scientists and fossilized lightning.
It's been a lot.
So before we wrap things up, I got to ask, do you think Travis Walton was really abducted by aliens?
That's the question everyone wants answered, but I can't just say yes or no.
I figured you might say that, but come on, you spent years researching this stuff. You got to have some kind of opinion.
I do, but it's not about just believing or not believing. It's about approaching this case, any paranormal case really, with critical thinking,
Right.
We have to look at the evidence, the witnesses, all the possible explanations, even the crazy ones.
Okay, so what are some other explanations? We talked about the hoax idea earlier, but are there other possibilities?
Yeah, some people think it was all a big joke. Maybe the loggers made it up for attention or money.
Right.
But that seems unlikely, right? Their stories were consistent, they passed lie detector tests, and they risked a lot.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine them keeping up a lie like that for so long.
Right. Another theory is that they all had some kind of shared delusion, maybe from stress, being tired, or something in the environment.
So they saw something, but it wasn't an alien spaceship. More like a group hallucination.
It's possible, but it's a pretty big coincidence for 7 people to have the exact same hallucination with all the details, the burn marks, the radiation.
Yeah, that does seem unlikely.
Right.
But I guess we got to consider all the options.
Exactly. And that makes this case so interesting. It makes us think outside the box, question what we think is real, and just embrace the mystery.
Like looking in a cosmic mirror. and seeing our own hopes and fears reflected back at us.
Wow, that's a great way to put it. Whether you believe Travis met aliens or not, this story makes us ask, are we alone in the universe?
And if we're not, what does that mean for us?
Big questions, right? But I think the Travis Walton case, no matter the explanation, reminds us that the universe is huge and mysterious, full of things we can't even imagine.
And sometimes it's not about finding all the answers, but just asking the right questions.
Exactly. Curiosity, open-mindedness, a willingness to explore the unknown, that's how we understand the universe.
Well said. So what's the final verdict on the Travis Walton abduction?
The verdict is, up to you. We've laid out the evidence, the theories, the possibilities. Now it's your turn to think it over, use your own judgment, and come to your own conclusions.
That's what Forbidden Unveiled is all about, getting our listeners to think about these mysteries, do their own research, and decide for themselves what they think.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will solve the Travis Walton case or even discover a whole new mystery that changes how we see the universe.
That's what's so great about this show. We're not telling you what to believe. We're trying to spark your curiosity, make you think, and remind you that the world is full of wonder and mystery.
And sometimes the most amazing discoveries are right in front of us, just waiting for someone with a curious mind to uncover them.
Well, that's another episode of Forbidden Unveiled in the books. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the Travis Walton abduction. It's a case that keeps us thinking and wondering about the world around us.
If you have any thoughts, theories, or questions about the case, head over to our website or social media and let us know. We love hearing from you.
And if you liked this episode, be sure to subscribe to Forbidden Unveiled wherever you get your podcasts. We've got a whole universe of mysteries to explore. Come join us.
Until next time, keep looking up at the sky, keep asking questions, and never stop wondering what's out there.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and remember, the truth is out there somewhere.